Hello friends, have you heard of the word conjugate? Conjugate is a word we use in sword calculations. Now if you have a sword that looks like this, assuming these are numbers, real numbers, A and B, you have A plus the square root of B. Now if you have another problem or term that looks like this, A minus root B, this sword and this sword are what we call conjugates. They are what we call conjugates. And now conjugate swords help us to simplify a sword and convert it to a real number or a solvable problem. Now if you multiply two conjugates, you end up having a real number. For instance, you have A plus root B times A minus root B. Alright? We're going to have A squared minus B squared. So it's no more a sword. It's now a normal number. That is why we work with conjugates. Now, what we use the conjugate to do, we use it to rationalize certain swords that look like this. For instance, you have a sword that looks like this. A plus root B. Alright? If you have a sword that looks like this, the conjugate of this denominator is what we will use to rationalize the denominator. The conjugate of this denominator is what we will use to rationalize this denominator. We know the purpose of rationalizing is to help to make the sword more solvable, easier and simpler to use and to manipulate. So, the conjugate of the sword will be used to rationalize that denominator. For instance, if I say, let's rationalize the denominator, we're going to multiply the numerator by A. We'll multiply the numerator. We'll multiply the numerator. We'll multiply the numerator by A minus root B all over and multiply the denominator by A minus root B. Alright? So that is how we rationalize the denominator of such swords. We use the conjugate to rationalize them. So let's go right ahead and solve some examples. Okay, so let's jump right ahead. We're going to simplify 1 all over 3 minus 2 root 2. So first of all, we're going to find the conjugate of the denominator, the conjugate of this sword written in the denominator. So we know that the conjugate of that sword will be 3 plus 2 root 2. Alright? So we'll have to rationalize the denominator. In order to simplify this problem, we'll have to rationalize the denominator. So let's go right ahead and do that. We'll say 1 all over 3 minus 2 root 2 times 3 plus 2 root 2 all over 3 plus 2 root 2. So our answer will be, the numerator 1 times this will give us 3 plus 2 root 2. Then the denominator will be 3 minus 2 root 2 and 3 plus 2 root 2. Remember at the beginning I told you that when you multiply a sword and its conjugate, it cancels out the swords. Alright? That's, we're going to square 3 and we're going to square 2 raised to power 2, which is going to look something like this. 3 plus 2 root 2 all over 3 squared which is the first number, minus 2 root 2 squared. Alright, so let's go right ahead and simplify that. We have 3, alright, plus 2 root 2 all over 3 squared gives us 9, minus 2 root 2. 2 root 2 squared is 2 times 2 squared, which is 4, times root 2 squared, which is 2. So 4 times 2 gives us 8. Therefore, 9 minus 8 is equal to 1. Therefore, our final answer will be 3 plus 2 root 2. So, the simplification of this sword up here is 3 plus 2 root 2. Wasn't that sweet? So let's jump right ahead to the next. Let's jump right ahead to the next problem. The next problem. So we're going to quickly simplify this problem. 1 all over 2 root 3 plus root 5. First of all, remember we're going to get the conjugate of this denominator. So we know the conjugate of this denominator is 2 root 3. What will it be? Minus root 5. So we're going to rationalize the denominator with its conjugate. So let's jump right in. So we'll say 1 all over 2 root 3 plus root 5 times 2 root 3 minus root 5 all over 2 root 3 minus root 5. Alright? So that will give us 2 root 3 minus root 5. Alright? Remember, we're going to square the two sides. So that will be 2 root 3 squared minus root 5 squared. Alright? So, let's do that. We'll do that like this, right? 2 root 3, right? Minus root 5 all over 2 root 3 squared. 2 root 3 squared is the same thing as 2 squared, which is 4, times root 3 squared, which is 3. Right? Then we have root 5 squared, which is 5. So this is 12. 12 minus 5. So jumping right in, we have 2 root 5 root 3 minus root 5 all over 12 minus 5, giving us 7. So this is our final answer. So we can further simplify this to 2 over 7 root 3 minus root 5 over 7. So this is the simplification of this sword. The simplification of this sword. Okay, so our final example, we're going to simplify this sword 1 all over 1 minus root 2 bracket squared. So now there's a difference between this sword and the ones we've been working on in the first and the second examples. So what we're going to do is we're going to first of all simplify the denominator before we can start to rationalize or possibly find its conjugate. So we're going to simplify the denominator. So we know that 1 minus root 2 squared, right? Minus root 2 squared, right? So we're going to multiply. We take 1 and multiply this bracket, then we subtract minus 2 and multiply the bracket. So 1 times this bracket will give us 1 minus root 2. Then minus 2 times this bracket will give us, remember 1 minus this bracket, 1 times the bracket is 1 minus root 2. Then minus root 2 times the same bracket, right? Minus root 2 times 1 is what? minus root 2. Minus root 2 times minus root 2 gives us plus 2. So we would have 2 plus 1 plus 2 gives us 3. Minus root 2 gives us minus 2 root 2. So it's now 1 all over 1 minus root 2 squared is the same thing as 1 all over 3 minus 2 root 2. Are we clear? So now we know that the conjugate of 3 minus 2 root 2 is 3 plus 2 root 2. So we're going to rationalize the denominator. 3 with its conjugate, 2 root 2 all over 3 plus 2 root 2. Alright, so now jumping right to this side, this multiplied by this will give us 3 plus 2 root 2 all over. Remember, this will be 3 squared minus 2 root 2 squared, giving us 3 plus 2 root 2. 3 squared gives us what? 9. 2 root 2 squared gives us what? 2 squared is 4, right? 4 times root 2 squared, that's 2. 4 times 2 gives us 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. So, the denominator is 1. Therefore, the simplification of this complex looking sword, 1 all over 1 minus root 2 into bracket square, is 3 plus 2 root 2. And that is our answer. That is our answer. And so, we've come to the end of this class, but I'm going to drop a quick assignment for you. I want you to solve. I want you to simplify. All right? Simplify 1 over 1 minus root 3 square using the method I just used in the last problem. So thank you for joining me. I see you in my next class. Do not forget, we are here every 4 p.m. GMT +1 on EasyMathsTutor channel. If you're new to this channel, please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and you can also support this channel in any way possible. Thank you for joining. See you in our next class. Bye.